Hi guys, it's me, Jack, from the SyD podcast, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into our sections on plant medicine in the adult. So we've talked a little bit about the chemistry, we've talked about the components of what makes up the plant medicine, and today we're going to talk about the biggest question, and that is, how do you get the plant medicine into the bottle? So we're going to get the medicines into the bottle. That's kind of what extraction is really all about. There's a few ways to create the oil, and the intent is to make a final product as close as possible to the flower profile. Extracting and concentrating the oil is the starting point for all other products like tinctures, vapes, edibles, topicals, patches, capsules, and on and on. The finished product should have the highest potency, highest purity, and the potential of medicine. There's 4 main methods to go about doing this. You're going to use ethanol, and you can soak the buds in 100% grain ethanol, and that'll pull the cannabinoids from the plant itself, which is then strained away. The liquid will evaporate over time, and the ethanol is refined and burned away with a heated reduction. Although there's a long and slow process, it does leave the medicinal properties intact because all the cannabinoids and terpenes were never taken apart. When complete, what is left is a thick black tarry paste of pure cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids of that particular plant. CO2 extraction is another method, and it's where you're going to use gas and pressurized carbon dioxide gas to blast all of the cannabinoids from the plant, and then collect each of the components through sifting and chemical analysis. The good thing about the CO2 extraction is that it's quick, it's clean, and very easy to get the cannabinoids, and it can be easily adjusted to whatever terpenes are wanted and to influence the effects according to what is desired. Butane is another method, and that's an extraction method that produces the highest THC products for the recreational market. Butane hash oil can be volatile, but maximizing THC up to 90% works best with this extraction method. And then there's the old world method to make keef or hashish, and that's to freeze the trichomes and then sift or scrape them through a kind of a grater or wire mesh screens. To recap the extraction techniques that clinicians and patients prefer, there's nothing like whole plant or full spectrum oils. Ethanol extracted formulations conserve and contain the 500 plus flower-derived cannabis ingredients, most of all which remain intact in the final product. In comparison, CO2 processing nets around a dozen compounds, isolate cannabinoids plus the terpenes, and isolate contains only one compound or one cannabinoid. Cannabis is a very complex plant, and it contains over 140 cannabinoids, 200 terpenes or essential oils, bioflavonoids, chlorophyll, essential fatty acids, and antioxidants. The synergy between all of the 500 plus compound enhances the entourage effect, and that promotes homeostasis. CO2 extraction, isolation, or fractionation remove many of these ingredients, contributing to the entourage effect. Researching and comparing whole plant formulations with isolate reflects a broader spectrum works better at 20 to 25% of the dose of isolate or CO2 extraction. Thereby, you're going to improve the health outcomes for less cost to the patient. Cannabis concentrates or cannabis extracts are more potent than the buds. They are more effective for patients suffering from severe ailments. When made properly, concentrates mirror the cannabis strain it was extracted from. The smell, the taste, and the effects are magnified due to a larger concentration by a weight of 1. The extraction of cannabis concentrates is a complex and potentially dangerous process, therefore should only be performed by trained professionals. There are extreme extracts that are cannabis concentrates that are made into wax, sauce, shatter, creating potencies a THC potency of over 90%. Flowers test between 5 and 35% THC, and these high THC products may cause psychosis and are extremely recreational. Some states are banning these concentrates as non-medical or unnecessary. So that's the story of how we get the plant medicine into the bottles. Now the next step in the process is to get you all lined up with a modulation that's going to work for you. A form, dosage, titration of that dosage, and the ongoing medical effects from the plant. Stick around, join us at bloomhemp.com/ref/Jack. Thanks for coming by, guys.